G'day guys, Mark from the Hunters Campfire, and welcome to my first Friday afternoon hunt. I'm up here on my deer block, and the good news is it's not raining, though it's certainly still pretty wet underfoot. So much so that I've literally just left the road, crossed the boundary line, and parked the truck up right against the fence, and I'm going to start walking from here. I very rarely hunt this block in the afternoon, so the idea is really just go for an explore. I've got 4 trail cameras in my backpack, and I've got a bit of a plan where I want to set them up. What I'm hoping to see is if there's still any resident stags on the block. This block generally doesn't hold a lot of stags, but it seems to have a lot of hind activity. So I'm hoping maybe there's 1 or 2 of the stags that hung around since the roar. The other thing, of course, is I'm always looking for pigs up here. The best pig I've ever shot came off this block, so I'm at least hoping to replicate that, if not better it. So for this afternoon, I'm going to head over towards the east, get right with the wind, and then walk the whole of the block. The Sunshine Coast Highway traffic being what it is, I'll probably stay up here till around 7-8 o'clock. Hopefully the traffic will be gone then and I'll have a clear run home. So with that in mind, I've actually brought up a thermal, a Burris BTH35. So after dark, I'm going to test out the thermal and see if I can see any game animal movement in those first couple of hours. Now here's the interesting thing. When I started hunting this block 2 years ago, it was really at the tail end of a very, very dry period, and there was one permanent water source other than a pump on this property. Most of the cattle went to the trough and pump, and nearly all of the deer that I saw were around a particular dam that's about 700 meters from me in a direct line of sight. The thing is, with this 2 years of rain that we've had, there is now water everywhere, and I'm actually next to a reasonable dam, and around this dam there's lots and lots of deer sign. So their behaviour has completely changed to make hay while the sun shines, I suppose is the best way to say it, which really is an important point. No matter how long you hunt a place, you have to always be ready for it to change, because it will change, and if you don't change with it, you'll have a period of success, but then that period of success may dry up or wash away depending on the conditions. With all this rain, we've now got a semi-permanent water supply right here in the middle of a paddock. It's draining towards a creek, so it's runoff, but I'd expect it's going to be here for at least another 3 months. That's if it doesn't keep raining like it is at the moment. And with that, we start to see deer activity that I've never really seen before on this block. As you can see, got deer sign. Right out in the open, probably coming in either early in the morning or late in the afternoon to water. The good thing about it is there's a lot of positions I could sit with the wind and watch over this dam. But today I'm going to keep moving. However, I might stick a trail cam right here and see what happens. So, I've been following cattle tracks for a while, and as I started to move up into the tree line, they thinned out though. There are still cows up in here, but the deer tracks are starting to really show up now. And I don't know if it's wishful thinking on my part, but I think there's some big tracks as well. So I'm going to keep heading up and see what I can see. There's a mob of deer about 150 meters away. However, there's a slight problem between me and the deer. Okay, so I'm going to let those ones go and see if I can find some other deer in a less snaky place. We've got about 20 minutes of light left, and a couple of minutes ago I saw an ear flick in the distance and got all excited, even got the camera out. Hopefully you'll see it. It's a kangaroo, unfortunately. Looked like a deer for a second. Oh well, that's the way it goes. So for the first time hunting in the afternoon, I saw 5 deer. Unfortunately, there was a snake between me and taking the shot, and to be honest, I deferred to the snake this time. I came around to the western side of the block. Bit of learning for next time. I was probably a little bit early, so there was a period of time when I was really looking into the sun as I was coming out of that gully country, which wasn't ideal. You know, there was a good chance that I might spot something at the bottom of that gully, but simply couldn't do it. The sun was in my eyes, or not directly, but I was getting hit by sunlight, and I'm sure I was casting a big shadow as well. As you can hear, I'm not far from the road, which means I'm not far from my vehicle, and I'm not far from having something to eat, because I'm actually staying up here for a couple of hours after dark. I want to try out the thermal gear. I've never tried thermal here in the evening. Had it a couple of times in the morning or pre-dawn, but never in the evening. And I just want to see movement, to be honest. I want to see if the animals are, especially the game animals, the deer are coming in from one area or another, or if they're, they're holding up and I can see them under thermal imagery. So that's really my next few hours. I'll probably stay up here till about 8 o'clock, and then I'll head home. Unless I see a great big boar, I'm not going to shoot under the thermal light. I really just want to observe this evening and see what happens. Now, if I do see a boar or see some pigs and they're at a distance and I can't take the shots, well, that might make me think about how to take the shot next time. So really, this whole exercise coming up over the next few hours is really to see how to use the thermal and see what opportunities it presents. G'day guys, as you can see, it's night, and as you can see, I'm a bit cold. I must have cooled down coming off that hill, and I'm well rugged up, so I'm going to turn off this overhead light soon enough and run the camera on like the night vision function. But I thought before we did that, chat what we're going to do. So it's about 6:30, it's full dark, you can still hear water running. So I'm just going to scan the block with this particular night vision monocular, which is the Burris BTH35. You can tripod mount this, but this is primarily a handheld monocular in the thermal setting. So you can get ones that add onto your scope, you can get ones that replace the scope. This is a handheld version. So I'm going to really just stay pretty close to the car. I'm not going to wander off too far. And to be honest, I'm not that keen on shooting something through the monocular. I just want to see really, or test it to see what it's like in these conditions. I have used them before in New South Wales. Haven't used one up here on the block. So, and as you can tell, we're not too far from the road. So I'm going to head in a little bit, try and find somewhere where I can stand where it's relatively dry, and let's see what we can see. Okay, let's get at it. Okay, so we've had a good look around from the comfort of the truck. We've got cattle. There's a couple of smaller heat signatures in the grass. I'm assuming that most of them are rocks. There's one particular one that I've come back to a couple of times and it hasn't moved, so I'm assuming it's a rock. Though there is some smaller ones, and I think I noticed one of them was illuminated and then was de-illuminated, so I'm assuming that wasn't a rock, it was some kind of small mammal, I assume, in the grass, rat or something like that. So I'm going to cut down the fence line and try to look into different parts of the property now and see if we can see any other game about. However, as you can see from the cattle, if there were pigs or deer about, they'd really stand out in the thermal. So let's head that way. So we've shifted locations, saw a great big heat signature that turned out to be a great big rock, which was quite interesting. However, I think we've spotted a deer up on a hill. One of the challenges is this is actually, as a monocular that you're using to record with, it's hard to keep a steady image, and it's a manual focus, so you've got to play around with a bit. So really it's not a perfect night camera, but certainly it's allowing us to see things that we would otherwise not be able to see. So a little bit more exploring and see if we can see other game. Didn't get it unfortunately on video because again it's not that fast, but we had a bird or a bat fly past us and we could see it right through the monocular. It was quite spectacular, so I'll see if I can capture that. Well, there you have it, guys. My Friday afternoon hunt has come to an end. It's about 8 o'clock. Had a chance at some deer. Got interrupted by a snake, but hey, that's the way it goes. Didn't see any pigs, but I'll try again. And had a chance to explore with the Burris BDH35 thermal monocular, which was very interesting. I'm pretty sure I spotted a deer up on the hill. So, and that's about 400 to 500 meters away, so that was pretty good clarity. Interesting device. I'm not sure how it fits into my hunting, but I want to explore that over the next 6 months or so, especially through the winter months. So I'll be using it again, and I'll be up here again soon with a little bit more knowledge, and probably with snake-proof gaiters on as well, to see if I can get myself a deer or hopefully a pig. So catch you around, guys.